alone. I inform you that KMTV, Talk TV, Voice of Jiden, 88.5 in Grand Jiden, Smart FM 98.6, Flash FM 102.2, Chalk FM 105.3, Voice of Radio, Scope in Flevo, Soliton District, Maryland County. They are all carrying this press briefing live. I'd like to invite the Chief Administrator of the Ministry of Information, the Chief Spokesperson of the Government of LIBERIA, Honorable Matthew Pia, who will make his introductory comments, after which we will officially introduce to you our guest, Mr. Pia.
I'm not sure why Director Fahnbulleh is always thanking ELBC before the press conference and not all the other independent media entities. ELBC is a government institution. They're doing what they're supposed to do. These independent people are rendering service to you. So if you want to thank ELBC for always coming, as you do for the beginning, thank them too.
Thank you all.
So it's good to be here again. And for me personally, as the Minister of Information, it is pleasing to note that we have made this theater, Charles Bayonne Hall conference room, very active and full of activities. And I want to really appreciate all of you members of the press that are coming most times, 3 times a week now, to cover the activities of the government here at the Ministry of Information. As you all may be aware, there was this mudslide in Riversex. The National Disaster Relief Agency, headed by my dear friend, they've been very engaged, the armed forces of Liberia, different actors, been engaged. But then yesterday we decided to take the situation there to a higher level when the Vice President led a government delegation to visit the scene of the mudslide. Of course, he was joined by most of the actors, including the Executive Director. They met with families of those who lost their lives, met with some of the victims that are still alive, identified with them, prayed with them, gave them relief. And we thought it was the right thing to do. When our citizen situation, yes, others can go there. But when you see representation at the highest level, that the president, the vice president, all of that, it really, really shows that the government is concerned. And we were glad that our vice president, our able vice president, was able to take charge and take an entire delegation there. National Security Advisor Samuel Kofi Woods was part of the delegation. And we can say that the people were happy to have received them. The head of the National Disaster Relief Agency will be speaking here today. I'm sure he will give much more details as to what happened there. But recently we found out that there were people in our country who were doing sand money and something they call black sand. Citizen journalism is good. We came across a video showing huge quantity of what they call black sand being prepared for exportation. That action caught the attention of the cabinet, and at yesterday's cabinet meeting, a decision was taken that the Ministry of Mines and Energy, Lands is going away, to spearhead an investigation into what is happening. But meanwhile, before that investigation can go on, they're going to ensure that that mining of black sand is stopped. Any exportation of the black sand will also be stopped. So we want to appreciate the citizen journalists who did this beautiful video showing exactly the extent to which that situation was taking place, that made the government to be aware, and the government has moved very quickly to act in ensuring the protection of our landscape. The quantity of sand that we saw, black sand, whatever they call it, that was being docked around and ready for exportation is alarming. But as soon as the Ministry of Lands, the Ministry of Mines and Energy can conclude their investigation, we know exactly what the scope of that is. We also going to be interested in testing what they're carrying that they call black sand. We've done some research on it and found out that black sand can be used to do a number of things. And as far as we know, there's no concession anywhere with any group of people to be doing the mining of black sand in our country. So that appears to be something illicit, but the investigation will determine the full scope of what has happened, and further actions will be taken and announced. Talking about the cabinet, yesterday, and basically, you all know we have this 100-day deliverables, and we wanted to know where we are. So we were briefed, the cabinet was briefed on where we are with the execution of the 100-day deliverables. And I can say with all certainty, even in the absence of budgetary allocation, because the national budget is not yet passed, what we listened to yesterday as a briefing is very impressive. But at the end of the entire process, we know exactly what was achieved. And one of the things the Ministry of Information will do at the end of the process, in addition of what would be a quarterly magazine that will be published by the Ministry of Information. And that quarterly magazine, the maiden edition, will come at the end of the period for the 100-day deliverables, and it will catalog everything that was achieved sector by sector, agency by agency, ministry by ministry in that maiden edition of the Micat magazine. And thanks to Daniel Sando again, along with Nat Bidje, who will be his assistant minister, both technical services. They're doing a wonderful job. They're going to be running the New Liberia newspaper, they're running the magazine. We intend to bring the CPR back, the Central Printing Incorporated, that will print all government documentation that's also on their department. So they're doing a great job from the very beginning without any resource allocation, and I want to again publicly say I'm very pleased with the team. Yesterday, the rest of my people went for their confirmation hearing. I'm hoping that today in plenary it will be confirmed so that we'll have a full team that starts to do government's job. Also at that press conference yesterday, we had the opportunity to see the budget in a deeper way. When the national budget is submitted, it's just that holistic, huge structure. But yesterday, the budget minister was able to brief us, break down everything sector by sector, where the money going, what should be done here, and the entire cabinet now has an appreciation of what they submitted. But as we know, the budget is not a budget until it comes from the national legislature. Of course, clearly we know that at the end, some of the figures will change because ministries and agencies are concerned about the size of their envelope. Ministry of Information, for example, I said here the other day that we have projected 2.8 million. 2.1 of that is on personnel costs, and I will keep saying this, I don't believe the ministry has a workforce that takes 2.1 million in 12 months. I don't believe that. And that's why we've embraced the action of the CSA to do this holistic personnel audit of all 103 government spending entities, and that will give us a clear picture as to what the personnel realities are. Of course, he's here today to give you additional news. He's making a lot of news because he inherited a very rotten system, very rotten civil service. The civil service agency originally charged with the responsibility to handle government employment, especially for those who are civil servants, was stopped from doing their job in the last 6 years. There was clear usurpation, and somebody somewhere was doing their job, placing people on payroll before processing personnel action notices, and all of that led us to here. You saw at the mansion the other day, some 700 persons who are supposed to be what they call people on the supplementary payroll, protesting, maybe a breach of the sanctity of the executive mansion. But we are hoping and we'll cooperate with the CSA so that they lay all of these things to rest. At the cabinet also, we're able to get briefing on the president's legislative agenda. I'm particularly interested in one, that is the establishment of the National Tourism Authority. The legal advisor to the president indicated clearly at the cabinet yesterday that in the next couple of weeks, we're not talking months, we're going to have the draft ready for that bill establishing the National Tourism Authority. This is something we eagerly look forward to, because I think to a greater extent, culture, tourism, and all of that, they appear to be buried here. This place is a communication ministry. So once we have them in an environment where they have autonomy, we have a different procedure of recruiting the people who will go there, not just presidential appointment ordinarily, through serious vetting processes that we recruit the appropriate professional people, then we can be assured that tourism will boom once again in our country. To close, there is an idea that we were touring with in the cabinet yesterday, which is very important. Those of you who are journalists, who travel everywhere, you know that the country as old as ours, there are places you go, you see school buildings, classrooms, and students are sitting on the floor. So we're thinking about policy, we're still having discussion around it, but it will be called the one child, one chair policy. What that policy will seek to do is that everywhere you have a school building where students are, nobody will sit on a piece of block, nobody will sit on the floor. Every child who enters a classroom will have a chair to sit on. Very decent policy, the details have been worked out, but it's important to get through it up because that is a huge problem here with students in different places, even the places you call classrooms in some places. It's so wanting. The Minister of Education was able to start a tour. She was in the Southeast. She's preparing to come here at Micat to give you a clear picture of what she was able to see on that tour, and she will continue to the rest of the country. The president was keen yesterday also to say he's not interested in ministers and head of agencies, particularly those who have bearing on the legal country yesterday in their offices. They should be out there. They should know the reality of the situation in the county. If you don't know what the conditions are, you can't solve it. So people will not be Monrovian leaders. They will not be armchair leaders. They're going to get in the field, get an impression and feel of what is happening there, so that you get more motivated to see the need to solve some of the problems we've inherited. Having said that, I don't want to take up all of your time, so let me quickly invite the Director General of the Civil Service Agency. We're giving you some news. There's been apprehension. I'm seeing all the news go ahead now. 40,000 people have lost their job. People shaking. Maybe after he speaks, the nerves will calm down. Mr. DG.
Thank you so much. You know, Mr. Minister, this historic Chatsville press reading room is becoming a familiar place for me, and I'm really enjoying it. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. I want to recognize the leaders from the disaster management institution here. My deputies, the Deputy Director General for Human Resource Management and Policy, Mr. Darlington A.P. Smith, who just walked out. Dano Miayen is going to join us shortly. He is the Deputy Director General for Administration at the Civil Service Agency. To you, our esteemed media, other officials of government here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Civil Service Agency, I extend profound thanks and appreciation to Minister Gerald MPA and the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism family for allowing the Civil Service Agency to use this great platform to update the Liberian people on the state of affairs of the public service. In our last press briefing, we announced that the WIA administration left us with an excessively bloated payroll encompassing 67,746 personnel across 103 governmental spending entities. This translates to an alarming average monthly wage expenditure of $23,543,874.64 United States dollars. In addition to this already strenuous financial burden on the government, from January 1st to December 31st, 2023 alone, we lost $6.1 million that was spent on independent consultants and consultancy firms. As a result of this grave situation, the payroll is inundated with a huge number of ghosts, unqualified individuals serving in critical positions, and individuals who did not complete their personnel action notices in keeping with the Civil Service Act, the Civil Service Standing Orders of 2012, and the Revised Human Resource Policy Manual of 2014. This grave situation has significantly incapacitated the public service, weakening its performance and productivity. This critical national issue requires urgent and immediate attention. The civil service is on course with ongoing civil service reform efforts to address these critical national issues. First and foremost, the Personnel Action Notice, which is popularly referred to as PAN, is the employment instrument the Civil Service Agency uses to hire, promote, replace, and/or transfer a civil servant. Civil servants play a crucial role in the functioning of government systems and the delivery of public services. Personnel action notices are therefore essential documents that outline the employment status, responsibilities, and benefits of individual employees. However, a concerning issue has emerged. Many civil servants do not have PANs or possess incomplete PANs, leading to administrative and legal challenges. The CSA is of paramount concern about the implications of irregular PANs among civil servants and the importance of regularizing these documents. We have identified approximately 19,600 civil servants across various government spending entities who were put on the government's centralized payroll in 2019 and do not have PANs. Similarly, an estimated 20,405 employees possess incomplete PANs from payroll activities from 2019. This total 40,405 employees in both categories. This discrepancy raises serious concerns regarding the lack of proper documentation and adherence to established procedures within the civil service. Without valid and complete PANs, employees may face uncertainties regarding their employment status, entitlements, and career progression. The absence or incompleteness of PANs among civil servants can have far-reaching consequences on both individuals and the overall efficiency of government operations. Some key implications include legal vulnerability, administrative inefficiencies, and lack of accountability. Let us take, for example, employees without PANs risk facing legal challenges regarding their employment rights, benefits, and responsibilities. Incomplete PANs may also lead to disputes in job classifications, salaries, and promotions. Improper documentation can hinder the effective management of human resources within government agencies. It may result in delays in processing employee benefits, performance evaluations, and disciplinary actions. Incomplete or missing PANs make tracking and monitoring civil servants' performance and conduct difficult. This lack of accountability can undermine transparency and integrity within the civil service. In light of this development, the CSA has requested all heads of government spending entities to ensure that employees who were added to the payroll during the period of July 2019 to December 2023 and whose status has not been regularized by the Civil Service Agency work with their respective human resource directors to proceed to the Civil Service Agency and have their personnel action notices properly processed within a grace period of 90 days, beginning April 2nd to June 30th, 2024. The spending entities must provide a comprehensive personnel listing as a prerequisite to processing each employee's PAN. We encourage all spending entities to take note of the 90-day period and have their respective human resource directors coordinate with the corresponding analysts at the CSA to address these issues. The CSA has the equipped specialized team to handle the influx of spending entities that will begin PAN proceedings with our Employment Services Division. Established guidelines and procedures are in place for issuing, maintaining, and updating PANs for all civil servants. As you may recall, on 16 February 2024, the Civil Service Agency, under the direction of Mr. Alfred Rosset, then officer in charge, in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, temporarily froze select human resource operations. The measure was necessary to maintain order in how spending entities moved staff around, especially when most entities were still controlled by officers in charge. We will not lift the entire freeze. Today, we are lifting the freeze only for direct replacement. The freeze on new hires and transfers will be lifted after the General Auditing Commission conducts the payroll compliance audit. The Civil Service Agency has reached this decision because a significant percentage of GOL spending entities has been staffed with the appropriate statutory heads. The Civil Service Agency wishes to emphatically remind all heads of spending entities that in reference to Chapters 3 and 4 of the Standing Orders of the Civil Service 2012, all the following human resource movements must meet approval of the Director General before implementation. Intra and inter-agency transfers, promotions and demotions, direct